O'Reilly Auto Parts is here to get on the road with the right parts, advice from our parts professionals, and our free loaner tool program. Your local store has more than 80 specialty tools available for your next repair. Refundable deposit required. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and ask about our free loaner tool program or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Auto Parts. Are you looking for a job? Have a friend that needs a job? The Sack Jobs Career Fair at the Lionsgate Hotel at McClellan Park. Want a better job? Then head over to the Sack Jobs Career Fair. For more information, visit sackjobs.com. Sackjobs.com.
Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Because there's only one you. Vuse Alto is the vape as unique as you are. With Vuse by You, you can make your unique mix with any of 4 colors, 3 flavors, 3 nicotine levels, and infinite wrap designs. So how will you do you? Make Vuse Alto a vape that is yours. In store now. Discover more at Vuse.com. Vuse. Charge beyond. Vapor products. Underage sale prohibited. Website and offers restricted to age 21 and over tobacco consumers.
Try Babbel. Practice real-life conversations in the Babbel app.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Get personalized help in Babbel's live online classes.
Classes are limited to 6 people, so everyone can get the help they need.
Review words and phrases with fun games, or dive into the culture with short videos. Whatever your learning style, Babbel gives you the tools you need. Babbel. More ways to learn. Start learning a new language today at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Belinda Carlisle has announced that she will be joining the Go-Go's for a live performance, after all, at their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction next month in Cleveland. Latest on the Fawn fire, it looks like it's at about 50% containment, and that's just north of the Reading area. And Raiders won over the Miami Dolphins yesterday, 31-28.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton with Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to a lot of people who listen to All Spur 11 War. I want to say today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the wolf. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C Center. You can follow Big C Sports on 17 podcast applications all over the universe. #1, Google Podcast, Alexa Podcast, Spotify Podcast, Spreaker Podcast, Apple Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports. #6, iHeartRadio Podcast. #7, Castbox. #8, Deezer. #9, Podcast Addict. #10, Pod Chaser. You ever chase somebody around on an NFL football field? All for 11 War. And you can also follow us on Hopper. You can follow us on Stitcher Podcast, Radio Online Podcast, Luminary Podcast, and also soon coming to Facebook. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on TV. Yes, Big C Sports is on TV. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. But you better have a smart TV, or you'll be sitting there looking at a throw picture. Man, I love saying, let's get ready to rumble! My ears are still ringing like a jet was flying over Levi Stadium in beautiful San Francisco, Santa Clara over the weekend. Sunday, what a great game, the home opener for the 49ers. The Green Bay Packers under touchdown. Aaron Rodgers coming right back to win. They needed 37 seconds after the Niners had taken the lead. Green Bay comes right back. Crosby kicks a field goal, 50 yards plus. All fair and love and war. I love giving up my family legacy. We'll talk some NFL football today. Also some college football. Also, we have a lot of things happening in the world of baseball. Baseball coming right down to the wire, deciding who's going to play in October. Everybody loves baseball, but sometimes you got to get to the finish line, and there's a chance, just a chance, that the Giants and the Dodgers, the loser is going to go into a playoff. They have a chance to lose. Could you imagine both teams winning over 100 games and maybe get knocked out in your first playoff game? That would be a horrible thing for Major League Baseball. All fair and level work. I love paying homage to my family legacy. This is not Ancestry.com. It's BigCSports.com. All fair and level work. My family legacy. I honor Mamo, the patriarch of our family. And then she actually the matriarch of our family. Papa's the patriarch of our family. I know the difference between men and women, okay? So don't get me twisted. I told you I had a long weekend, Oscar and Leavenworth. And then Pop also played Negro League baseball. Monday is a seer. She's my grandmother on my mother's side. She taught me a lot of things that came through. Oh, it was amazing. Just so many things. I really appreciate her success, her help over the years. And then my beautiful mother started a Head Start program in Central California. Also managed a Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give that woman some praise. Give her praise, praise, praise. And then on my father's side, the patriarch of the family, Albert Curry, a pastor. That's where I get my screaming from, if that makes sense. Yeah, why you always screaming, Charlie? And then he ran 2 service stations as well in Oakland, California. And then my beautiful grandmother, called her Alberta Curry. And I challenge all my loudness, my screaming comes from my brother Todd. He was always screaming about something all fair in Leavenworth. That's my power words come from that. And then I also would say, let's get ready to rumble. I love giving praise to that. You know, Drew Boudini Brown, he was the one that started Rumble, Young Man Rumble, even though a lot of people think it came from Bruce Buffer. And we say, let's get ready to rumble. That's how Drew Boudini Brown used to talk to Muhammad Ali. No one talks about the great Drew Boudini Brown, but Big C Sports does it on every podcast show. Let's get ready to rumble. I love Big C Sports. SP nominated Big C Sports by Disney Corporation. Really appreciate that. We have no scripts, no 3-way phone calls, no producer in my ear. Some people say that's painfully obvious. All fair and left war. All I got in my ear is some wax and some ringing ears from the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers game. What a ball game. If you don't like that, just turn off the football, because that was an amazing football game. Up 17-0 were the Packers. The Niners come back, take the lead with about 37 seconds left in the game. And them good old boys with touchdown Aaron Rodgers come right back. Crosby kicked a 50-plus yard field goal. All fair in Leavenworth. I love producing my show. I want to always thank my son Malcolm, who's going to have some segments coming up as we get into the NBA. And then my daughter Daisy, who's helped me also in the past with some setting up of professional sporting events. Really do appreciate the help of my kids also in the past, Big C. I want to say thank you to my cousin Tyler Dragon, who also writes for USA Today. He was actually the press box in San Francisco, Santa Clara, beautiful Levi Stadium. So good job, Tyler. Keep on climbing that ladder. As you can soar like an eagle, don't be like a chicken, because they get barbecued. Stay like an eagle, Tyler. You got all kind of God's praise all over you, all squares in Leavenworth. Number 1, Big C Sports, YS dominated. I produce, I direct topics. Also, I broadcast every show. I do all the sound effects. Excuse me, did I break your concentration? I even have the laugh crowd coming in, the crowd noise. I do the commercials. Guess who's coming to dinner? I'm coming to dinner if somebody's feeding me. And then I provide all the stats. It's all fair in Leavenworth, especially the stats that say first down, touchdown, home run, 3-point play. I do the storytelling. It's all fair in Leavenworth. I do the play-by-play. Touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way. All fair in Leavenworth. You got to be an old-time Raider fan to understand, oh, man, Willie, he's going all the way in the Super Bowl against the Minnesota Vikings back in the day, all fair Leavenworth. And then I upload every show to 17 podcast applications and 4 television applications. Give that man some praise. Give him praise, praise, praise. Going to have also later this month or in October, the great Shaquille Spikes, former San Francisco 49er. He's going to be on the Big C Sports podcast talking about the red and gold and how good they are. The Niners are a great team. It came down to a miraculous play with touchdown Aaron Rodgers. Going back to Big C Sports, why SP nominated. Just like touchdown Aaron Rodgers is SP nominated. That good old boy, as I was talking to him after the game at Levi Stadium, that good old boy, it's amazing how he can just see things like a Jedi Knight. He did his thing at Pleasant Valley High School up in Chico, played at Butte College, went over to Cal Berkeley, did the same thing. And I know he wanted to be drafted by the 49ers, but not so fast, my friend. They didn't see the value in drafting him in future Jedi Knight. But he knows how to read defenses, asking Aaron, what did you see with 37 seconds that allowed you to drive the team down the field? You only had a couple of plays. And all Aaron said was we worked on so many things in practice that we practice that in practice all the time. So to the 70,000 fans at Levi Stadium that was going nuts, the touchdown Aaron Rodgers, it was just another walk in the park as he led his team in the field goal range, and then Crosby kicked it through the uprights, and they spoiled the 75th edition of the San Francisco 49ers and Bill Walsh. So what a great game, though. I mean, the crowd was amazing. airplanes were flying over, the Blue Angels were flying over, all square level, or Big C Sports was there as well. Really appreciate that. I want to also say I paid homage to God. I know a lot of people think that's weird. God, what are you talking about, God? I always want to say, I want to quote the Bible because I'm asking God, I'm giving God praise. This is opening doors. In Genesis 13:15, God says, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. And I love the book of James 4:2. It says, we have not because we ask not. So just ask. Everything you want in your life, you got to ask for it. Unless they give it to you. If you don't ask, you don't get. If you ask and don't get, it's the same as not asking, so don't be afraid. The only way you can hurt yourself is don't ask. Just ask for everything. You'll get it. Big C Sports was the first media credential handed out for the Green Bay Packers and San Francisco 49ers football game. And I told them I'd be back. All square and level. I really appreciate that. I want to say also, I love paying homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. You can definitely get some help from our veterans and their loved ones. Give that Veterans Crisis Hotline some praise. Give it praise, 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 praise. You know, I wish so many people in this world could have the chance to meet someone by the name of, her name is Reza Pollack. Met her at the 49er games, worked with the 49ers organization. Really appreciate the kind words and the photos taken with you at the 49ers and Green Bay Packers football game. So give her praise. Give Reza some praise. Praise, praise, praise. I told you I'll be back. So really appreciate the kind words that you have to offer for Big C Sports Podcast as you're listening. I met so many wonderful people at the game. Everybody loves football, especially the 49ers. Those guys are amazing. I want to say also very happy to be affiliated with Valley Homes Weekly TV on Dish TV, Direct TV, AT&T Uverse TV of the first place, San Francisco Giants. Give them some praise. Man, they got to hold on though, because they're in a dogfight with the Los Angeles Dodgers. But Valley Homes Weekly is amazing. The home of the San Francisco Giants. They always do homage to the San Francisco Giants. And I'm going to, when you reach out to them, just tell them that Big C wants those World Series tickets. I'm going to get them because the Giants will be in the World Series this year. Met a lot of good old boys that work in media that'll also be working with the San Francisco Giants. Just a lot of praise that I was appreciative of some of the people that I met over the weekend. And when you think about it, there's something about sports that brings a lot of people together, meeting people from all over the world. You know, I'll talk about that after the pause, after the Big C pause. But our goal is simple, really. I want to go to the World Series. And the Giants are going to be, it's easier to walk than it is to drive down to California. Really appreciate that. The Big C team, we also have the real estate dating app because houses get lonely too. If you get tired of looking at that same old doorknob, don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. I heard that when I was growing up. Now it makes sense. If you want to swipe left or swipe right, you want to lower that interest rate. You want to have location. If you can't afford a house in the Bay Area, because everything costs $5 million, it seems like it. Just move on to the Central Valley. All fair level war. Follow Big C Sports at bigcsports.pacwm.com. Most of our loans are underwritten by Rocket Mortgage, also United Wholesale Mortgage, the #1 and 2 lenders in the country on the wholesale side. Also, just like everybody else, we want to help grow the economy. Looking to recruit 10,000 real estate agents and brokers all over this country to help put people back to work. Just like McDonald's does it, car dealerships are doing it, sports teams are doing it, watch TV, and real estate work for you. 800-772-8624. Again, if you're looking for opportunities for a loan, go to bigcsports.pacwm.com. Most of our loans are underwritten by Rocket Mortgage and United Wholesale Mortgage. At the same time, I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Give them praise. Give them praise, praise, praise. Just like God said in Genesis 1:3, God said, let there be Big C Sports Podcast. Oh, hold on. My producer, he has a hangover for the 49ers and Green Bay Packer game. Let me see if I can help him. If that makes sense to you. In Genesis 1:3, God said, let there be light. Open your cell phones or electronic devices. Say play Big C Sports Podcast. You can see all of our apps pop up. I really do appreciate from anywhere in the world. that one loud black man that was screaming so loud at the game for the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Also, this segment sponsored by Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% on this game. Not as loud as the 49er crowd was at the opening day of the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. So Charlton Curry with Big C Sports got the first media credential that day at Levi Stadium. Really appreciate that, and we'll be covering more events throughout the year, from NBA playoffs, also Major League Baseball as we get into the World Series, and then getting credentials ready for the Super Bowl, for Super Bowl 56 with Charlton Curry of Big C Sports, all fair and level work. For those of you that I've told you about Budweiser Zero, it has 0% alcohol, 100% on this game. You have not heard about the Big C Burger? You do now. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all this exotic meat, a lot of exotic meat. It's a tasty burger, and rumor has it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands, as most things do. I found out, I guarantee, most things taste better in your mouth than it does in your hands, if that makes sense to you. That's why you got to have the Big C Burger. Also, I want to say thank you for all of you fantasy sports players. Go to superdraftpro.com/Big C Sports. I'm telling you, it's a great website featuring Sports Illustrated, Yahoo Sports, Associated Press, RotoWire, Sportico, Big C Sports Podcast. Subscribe to unlock the exclusive fantasy games and sports betting experiences with superdraftpro.com/Big C Sports. It's all fair and level word. Big C Sports is everywhere. I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere. I really appreciate what we do in the world of Big C Sports. We're going to take what's called the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. When I come back, we're going to talk about some college football. What some great games played over the weekend. Also, the NFL. The NFL is amazing. If you ever get a chance to stand on the sideline of 70,000 screaming fans, and all of them say, "Shut up, man, shut up!" No, that's not true. They're just saying, "Let's go! Let's go!" What a great environment, Levi Stadium, beautiful San Francisco, Santa Clara. In the words of the former California governor and the California recall governor, Gavin Newsom and Arnold Schwarzenegger, also the Terminators, Big C Sports will tell you right now. I'll be back. All right, we are back from the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports all over the world on 17 podcast applications and 4 TV applications, all fair and level war. This segment is sponsored by Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% on its game. Let's get ready to rumble. 70,000 fans screaming at the top of their lungs until the final second in San Francisco, Santa Clara. What a football game. Over the weekend, week 3, Big C's thoughts on some scores for week 3. Touchdown, Derek Carr has a clutch pass that leads the Raiders to an overtime win versus the Dolphins. And the Raiders have played a lot better this year than anyone gave them credit for. They beat Baltimore, they beat Pittsburgh, and now they just knocked off the Dolphins, 3 playoff teams from last year, all fair and level war. But I'm looking at what happened starting last Thursday night. The Panthers 24, the Texans 9, the Cardinals on Sunday were at the Jaguars. We'll talk about some of those games as the Falcons were at the Giants, Ravens at the Lions. What a kick. The record set for the NFL in field goals, 66 yards. The Bears down the Browns 9 times. He got sacked, my good old boy. Man, that's a tough opening start in the season for Justin Fields, all friend level. The Bengals got over the top of the Steelers, the Colts have the Titans. Chargers knocking off the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 1-3. You believe that? The Saints knock off the Patriots. Say it ain't so. Washington got dumped by the Bills. The Raiders 31-28 overtime. And you have the Broncos with a 26-0 win over the Jets. The Vikings with a surprising 30-17 win over the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams 34, the Buccaneers 24. Tom Brady, that's his first loss since they lost last year at home to the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Packers at the 49ers. I was talking to touchdown Aaron Rodgers, and he had mentioned when I was asking him, after being passed up, of course, by the 49ers, having success at Pleasant Valley High School in Chico, and then going to Butte College, then Cal Berkeley, now in the NFL, how do you continue to make the big throws? And he talked about muscle memory, that he remembers a lot of things. When you show him one time, he remembers that he's not the biggest guy, he's not the fastest, but he's a gunslinger. And he knows how he has no fear. And he says, relax, relax. And so when you think about what separates touchdown Aaron Rodgers from so many other players, again, it's muscle memory. That's what he talked about his own mouth, all fan level war. I want to take you down to the desert. Touchdown, touchdown, Raiders! Touchdown, Derek Carr makes an over-the-shoulder throw to Byron Edwards, and that helps the Raiders with an overtime win. Carr threw for 386 yards. Give that man some praise. Give him some praise. 386 yards. He was doing his thing in the desert. The Raiders are 3-0. His last throw of the night was the biggest one of the night. A 34-yard touchdown to Byron Edwards set up the Raiders for the winning field goal by Daniel Carlson. With 3 seconds left for the victory. Something about the number 3. It makes you go, It's all fair and level. We're proud of touchdown Derek Carr. Much maligned last year. Really, since John Gruden took over, touchdown Derek Carr has been much maligned. But that good old boy is doing his thing out of Bakersfield Christian High School and Fresno State. Going to go over to Jacoby Brissett, runs for a touchdown and throws with 2 seconds left. Think about this. With 2 seconds left, throws a conversion to force overtime. With time running out, the Miami Dolphins, they were trailing 25-17. At one point, they were up 14-0. 14-0 on the road, and they let it get away. You want to crowd them, the great late Dennis Green. Don't crown the Raiders yet. But think about this, with time running out, trailing 25-17, touchdown, Jacoby Brissett, rush for a touchdown, threw for 2. 2 seconds left on the clock to cut the deficit to 25-25, actually 25-23. They needed a conversion to force overtime, and Brissett delivered on the pass to Will Fuller. That good boy had a chance to get in and play, and he made it happen. The Raiders ultimately won the game in overtime, but I really appreciate what happened with that Raider team winning down there in beautiful Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the crowds are giving us some praise. They are praising the Raiders at the silver and blackjack table, if that makes sense to you. Living on luck. At the same time, touchdown Matthew Stafford threw a 75-yard touchdown strike. Touchdown! Rams! Touchdown strike after a slow start. Matthew carved up the Bonnet Buccaneers defense in Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium. I'll be there for Super Bowl 56. It was on the first possession of the third quarter. He recognized touchdown to Deshaun Jackson, who came out of Long Beach Poly in Southern California, then went to Cal Berkeley, then bounced around several teams in the NFL, but streaking wide open down the middle of the field. Stop me if you heard that before. Hit him in his stride. Touchdown Jackson did the rest, showboating into the end zone to give the Rams a 2-score lead. He was doing his thing at Long Beach Poly also as a prepster back in the day. And then you look at Justin Jefferson, who snagged the go-ahead touchdown before half. Justin Jefferson did nothing but produce the good old can play since the Vikings drafted him 22nd overall in 2020. On Sunday, things were no different. He got a big pass from Kirk Cousins. You like that? You like that? Yes, he liked that. A 3-yard score that put the visitors ahead 21-17 over the Seahawks. I mean, I'm telling you, there's something about this great football teams that are finding a way to come back and win. I thought Seattle would have gotten that game, but they didn't. I want to talk about one boneheaded play call that leads to a safety. It's just my opinion. Everybody has their own. With the Dolphins at the edge of their own end zone, they dialed up a screen pass that ended up as Jayden Waddle caught the ball for 2 yards in the end zone. Immediately his legs were taken out by Casey Hayward for the safety. And the Raiders crowd went nuts. What in the world were they thinking? Everything that happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. But anyway, it's the first safety of the database, which is completed pass, no penalty or fumbles. But that was a bad call. They got to figure that out. A pick six put the Dolphins ahead early. No Tua Tagovailoa. No problem for the Dolphins. Their defense stepped up in a big way midway through the first quarter against the Las Vegas Raiders and gave touchdown Derek Carr some credit. He's been under fire a lot of times since John Gruden took over. But that's a good old boy Carr. Some credit. His pass landed right in the hands of linebacker Eldon Roberts, who rambled. He was rumbling 85 yards for the touchdown. Rumbling for a touchdown to open the scoring drive. And you thought, oh no, not again. But Kendrick Bourne's athletic score may be the most underrated play of the week. Things haven't gone far that great for Mac Jones in New England. But week 3 in the fourth quarter, Bourne's kind of a moss defender, stayed inbounds and tiptoed along the sidelines for 6 points. It's all fair and level war. Mac Jones, he lobs it up to Kendrick Bourne, and he made a play. New England, they have to get ready for the big game coming up soon when Tom Brady shows up back in New England. Saquon scores. It's been a rough start of the season for Saquon Barkley, coming off of a torn ACL, but his first score, a touchdown in 2021 Sunday against the Falcons. It was up and away, like up and away in my beautiful balloon. Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? Also going to be talking to Mark. He's part of NFL Films, been doing NFL Films for 50 years. Met him at the beautiful Levi Stadium. He's going to be on Big C Sports Podcast coming up in the next week or so. Also in Level War, back to NFL football. The flea flicker pick six, a little bit of trickery from Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars as poor blocking led to a rookie throwing an ill-advised ball that was picked off from return for six. It was Lawrence's second interception of the day, a flea flicker to the pick six. You know, rookie quarterbacks, they're going to go through some growing pains. Everybody goes through growing pains. Just like trying on a new pair of shoes. You're going to have growing pains, especially if you want your feet to look good. I saw so many good-looking shoes at Levi Stadium. You thought, how in the world could you put a foot in those shoes? And men did it too. All fair and level war. Really love Levi Stadium. 109 yards. Field goal return for a touchdown. The Jaguars are giving the Cardinals a game here. The special teams recorded what will probably be the play of the week as Jamal Agnew returned a failed field goal. 109 yards for 6 points. A couple of things here. Why were the Cardinals attempting a 68-yard field goal? It's all fair and level where the great Gus Johnson had the call on the play. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer broadcaster, in my opinion. I remember Gus Johnson driving him to a ball game over in Oakland about 20 years ago. He was working with Steve Taggart Coliseum. Really appreciate the great Gus Johnson, what he's done over the years. But his 68-yard field goal attempt turns into a 109-yard return touchdown. A lot of mayhem in Jacksonville. They were getting buck wild in Jacksonville. Touchdown, Jameis Winston throws it up to Callaway. Jameis Winston had one good week and one bad week. He looked pretty solid in week 3. To his second touchdown of the game against the Patriots in the second quarter. Usually when Jamin throws it up while being taken down, things can go pretty bad, but not this time. The great Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. It was the great Marquez Galloway that had a defender all mossed up for the touchdown. So good play by Jameis, touchdown Winston, all fair in the board. Jamar Chase scores another touchdown. Touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Well, touchdown, Jamar Chase scored another touchdown. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are a dynamic duo. The LSU couple, they hooked up for 3 long touchdowns through 3 weeks now. The latest scoring being against the Steelers. I thought the Steelers would have had this one. Steelers don't have an offense right now. Something's going on. They got to fix it under Tomlin. I want to look at Taylor Heineke. Think about this. Heineke became a household name, at least in Washington, D.C., after giving touchdown Tom Brady and the Bucs a game in the playoffs last year. But that was last year. The former practice squad player now has a chance to prove himself as a starter as he pulled off an impressive touchdown with his legs. A signature drive in Washington. He did it with his legs. A lot of people say we need a quarterback that can stand in the pocket. I'm telling you, when you can run the ball, it helps also. When you think about it, the kicker recovers his own kickoff. You have to see it to believe it. Washington's Dustin Hopkins recovered his own kickoff, and it wasn't an offside kick. It was a backspin on it, was evident, and then the ball was popped up into the air. And the game got wild pretty quickly. Recovered his own kick just like they practice it. He said they practice it in practice all time. It just doesn't always go that well. They practice all clear and the more. Antonio Gibson breaks 3 down, 21-0. Washington needed a big play, and they got that with an Antonio Gibson screen pass. The former Memphis receiver he was rumbling 73 yards for the touchdown, all the way to the end zone. And when he crossed the goal line, they said touchdown. It's always nice to get a touchdown when you're rumbling 73 yards. Luckily, he didn't get pulled down on the 1 yard line. All fair level war. Touchdown, Justin Herbert. Say it ain't so, please. Herbert, don't hurt them. That makes sense to you. Please, Herbert, don't hurt them. Please, Herbert, don't hurt them. If that makes sense, you got to listen real close. Touchdown, Justin Herbert. A jump touchdown pass. Everybody loves a jump pass. But Herbert pulled off one for the first touchdown in the game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tristan Vazquez missed the extra point, however, which is not something you want to do against Kansas City. There's also some talk that Coach Andy Reid was hospitalized after the game. I hear he's doing much better. Thoughts and prayers to Andy Reid as he recovers. Sometimes stress can get to the better of people. But what a game. The Chargers knocking off the Chiefs. The Chiefs were a team last year. They played a lot of games like this. They had to come from behind and win, but you can't keep playing that way. The Chargers are a better team. The Chargers have beaten the Chiefs 2 out of the last 3. Google it. Touchdown, Justin Herbert. Please, Herbert, don't hurt him. All fair and level war. Tyler Boyd escapes for 6. Big Ben Roethlisberger hasn't looked good for the Steelers early on, and neither has the defense. How did Boyd escape 3 defenders over his touchdown? I mean, all fair and level war. Guys getting hurt after signing multi-million-dollar contracts. You know, Watt did his thing, but obviously he was injured, so can't get a lot out of him. But I want to go back to the Chiefs, the 2 early turnovers. The Chiefs have turned the ball over on all 3 of their possessions, and when you think about it, that's not going to win. I told you, they've already won the AFC Championship 3 times in a row. They're not going to win it 4 times in a row. It's going to be another team coming out of the AFC. I don't know who it's going to be, but we will find out because I'll be at the Super Bowl when they win the AFC Championship, whatever that makes sense to you. Chester Rodgers revenge game. Wasn't it A.J. Brown? It wasn't Julio Jones. It was a Chester Rodgers who Ryan Tannehill found in the end zone for the Titans' first touchdown. Titans! All spread level war. And then Rodgers actually spent his first 4 years with the Colts and threw a jab their way after his touchdown, throwing up the T.Y. Hilton celebration as Tennessee went up 7-0, celebrating his first touchdown as a Titan. Sometime it might come back to bite you. Might want to show a little class after you score. Kyler Murray had everybody fooled. You ever been fooled by somebody? Don't let the smooth taste fool you, the great Billy D. Listen to this. Murray is the early season MVP. Give that man some praise. Give him praise. Praise. I know you don't want to do it, but he's the early season MVP and scored his 10th touchdown. His 10th touchdown of the year. We only played 3 games. He also deserves a Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all the exotic meats. There's so many people asking at the Levi's saying, hey, Charleston, what is the Big C burger? I told them, it's a tasty burger, and it comes with all this exotic meat. A lot of the exotic meat. That's what the Big C burger is. And you know there's a cardinal on the side of the helmet for the Arizona Cardinals. And so I'm telling you, there's something about Murray. 10th touchdown of the year. The first quarter is when it happened against the Jaguars. When you have a guy that mobile, that can move around in the pocket and run 50 yards downfield, you always have to account for him in the end zone. The good old boy can play football, all fair and level work. Asante Samuel Jr., diving interception. This rookie class of cornerbacks has been so impressive. Samuel Jr. is standing out and now has picked off passes in back-to-back weeks. That good old boy did his thing. It's all fair, picking off. Touchdown, Patrick Mahomes. It was tipped, but it was still picked. That's Asante Samuel Jr., second interception of the year. And I'm telling you, the Chiefs got to figure it out because a lot of people have been studying the team that's played the most football games in the AFC over the last 3 years. Touchdown, Josh Allen. Elite touchdown, so that good boy can do his thing. Give Josh Allen some praise. Praise. Give him some praise out of Fireball High School in Central California by way of Wyoming. Also went to, I think, Kings River Junior College. Now, Allen hasn't gotten up to the hottest start in 2021. He does have that $250 million contract. Give him some praise for that. All friend of war. But he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. We saw that on the Bills' first drive of the game as Buffalo went 75 yards downfield on 8 plays and capped the drive with an impressive touchdown. He threw a touchdown pass. Emmanuel Sanders, all fair and 11 war. I'm telling you, he's going to have a good year. Just get off to a slow start. I'm going to take the game that I was at is the 49ers at home. The 75th season in San Francisco. Big C Sports was there. And it was just one of the best football games I've ever seen in my life. It was back and forth. Green Bay jumped out to a 17-0 lead. The crowd was still loud. The 49ers came right back and scored. Trey Lance scored, went into the end zone before halftime, but no time left in the clock. They were down 17-7 at halftime. It was back and forth in the third, but the 49ers ended up outscoring Green Bay in the third quarter. And then with 28 seconds left, they took the game lead. Husek with a pass from Garoppolo ran about 7 yards in the end zone breaking tackles. But not so fast, my friend. Touchdown Aaron Rodgers. All he needed was 34 seconds. Because with 3 seconds left, they were in field goal range. Crosby kicked it up, 50-yarder, and it sent the crowd home saying, oh my goodness, he did it again. What did Britney Spears say? Oops, I did it again. I don't know the rest of the words of that song, but I know she said, oops, I did it again. I know that part. Give that man some praise. He got 2 lines. Oops, I did it again. That's all fair in Level War. Rodgers' wild offseason revisited with the Packers of 49ers, the NFL's biggest storyline this offseason. Touchdown Aaron Rodgers. unhappy with the Packers. The media said that. That organization, particularly his interest in playing elsewhere if things didn't work. He wanted to play in San Francisco. But they worked out in Green Bay. Reports that Rodgers, his top desired long-standing landing spot, would have been the San Francisco 49ers. Didn't work out that way. They passed on him in the overall number one pick. In 2005, he talked about that in the press conference. They took Alex Smith. And now you know the rest is history. It's going to be how Rodgers reacts when he takes on those very 49ers. And he did it on Sunday Night Football. It was all the eyes of the sports universe were on Levi Stadium in the beautiful Santa Clara, San Francisco. I thought they were watching me right there on the sideline, right behind the 49er bench. I think I was on TV a couple times. I hope it wasn't seen picking my nose. I tried to turn away. But you know, sometimes you pick your nose. You want to be on TV? Pick your nose. They will find you. I was picking for the Big C burger, the tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meat. It's all fair in Leavenworth, but what a great game. He grew up in nearby Chico, California, Pleasant Valley High School, went to Butte College, and then over to Cal Berkeley. Earlier this week, Packers coach Matt LaFleur said he isn't upset with Kyle Shanahan from San Francisco pursuing his starting quarterback. Kyle's a great friend of his. That's what LaFleur said. 1-2 against Shanahan and the 49ers. Haven't talked to him in a while. It's just part of the business. They have no ill will against each other. They just want to win. So what happened when the 49ers had the home opener? They brought in touchdown Aaron Rodgers. I think he's 6-3 overall against that team as a starter. If you think about it, the Packers take on the 49ers heavy. Oh my goodness, the crowd was amazing, Levi Stadium. It was one of the best crowds I've ever witnessed in my life. It's just a long list of intriguing Week 3 storylines. Justin Fields got his first start for the Bears. Sean Payton and Bill Belichick squared off. In New England, the Raiders shoot for 3-0. Oh yeah, the Raiders at 3-0. Give those Raiders some praise. Give them praise, praise, praise. All fair in Leavenworth. And then touchdown Tom Brady, the defending Super Bowl champion of Super Bowl 55. They got knocked out in Los Angeles. I love L.A. L.A.'s a great place. And the Buccaneers went to Los Angeles. They took on the unbeaten Rams. And the Rams beat the Buccaneers. I never saw a Ram beat a Pirate. Usually Pirates are eating they're eating Rams for dinner. But these are different kind of Rams. They're a different breed of Rams. All fair in level. Well, what a great weekend for NFL football. I love bringing it to you Big C Sports style like nobody else does. Let's get ready to rumble! Gonna keep coming on back. The great Arnold Schwarzenegger said, I'll be back. I'll take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. In the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the #1 podcast network in the universe. There's like 17 of them, so I don't have time to name them all, but I do really appreciate the way things are thrown with Big C Sports. I'm telling you, so many things have happened in the world of sports. I want to thank also Caitlin Frischak. She works in media with the 49ers and also the Golden State Warriors. Will be doing some corresponding later this year. Give us some praise. Give us some praise. Praise, praise. All right, Caitlin, I told you we're going to have you on the program sometime coming up in this year as the NFL is kicking off All Fair and Leavenworth. We have a big game tonight. The Philadelphia Eagles are taking on the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East. And no matter who you like, whether you like Jalen touchdown Hurts, please, Jalen, don't hurt him. Or if you like touchdown Dak Prescott, please, Dak, don't hurt him. Or Daxon, is it Hurts or Dak? Don't redact the story, if that makes sense to you. All Fair and Leavenworth. Looking for a great game, in my opinion. I really like what Dallas has done this year. They are a team also that could be, undefeated. They had the last-second field goal by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Touchdown Tom Brady brought them back to take that lead. And then, obviously, they got a win in their next week when they had a win over the Los Angeles Chargers down at beautiful SoFi Stadium in Southern California. It's all fair and level. We're going to be a lot of interest in this game and what happens in the NFC East. The Giants they're gone. They're not a good team. Washington, they got blasted by the Buffalo Bills. They got knocked out. It was a fight. They would have stopped it. But we don't know yet. It's still early in the season. There's 17 weeks of NFL football. We will see what happens as these teams continue to pile up the winning yardage and the winning numbers. There's going to be a lot of cheering going on all over the country. as teams start to pull themselves out of the abyss. But it's really big for the leader of the NFC East, for the Cowboys or the Eagles to get this win. The Eagles were knocked out by the 49ers last week. And then the Cowboys, of course, with that win over the Chargers. And the Chargers are good. You see, they just knocked down Kansas City. We're going to take the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. In the words of the former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and the recall Governor Gavin Newsom, I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. Follow us on 17 applications all over the world. And also, you sign us on 4 TV applications. We're changing our sound system. Having a little bit of technical difficulty, but the show goes on. And Monday Night Football, we have the NFC's East top rivalries. We're going to wrap up week 3 of a great football weekend. NFL schedule on Monday night. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're 1-1, take on the Dallas Cowboys also at 1-1. Both teams have a chance to move into the top of the division with the win. One side has also momentum. Can the Eagles bring an end to the Dallas winning streak at AT&T Stadium? If Jerry Jones has anything to say about it, no. Because they don't want to lose at home. Don't be surprised if the lights go out. That game is already underway. But you think about Dallas, the way they're playing high-flying quarterback. They're playing good football. Dak Prescott. And then you also have Jalen Hurts coming to town. Kickoff already underway at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. It was kicked off at 8:15 p.m. East Coast time. The Cowboys are 3.5-point favorite in the latest Cowboys versus Eagles odds by Caesar Sportsbook, also proud sponsors of sportsdrafthero.com/Big C Sports, the #1 gaming app coming sponsored by Caesars Entertainment. But when you think about this game, the Sportsbook, while the over-under for total points scored is 51.5 before the Eagles and Cowboys kick off, I don't know if it's going to cover 51.5. We'll have to see. The Eagles had a hard time scoring at home against the 49ers. The Packers put 30 points on San Francisco on the road. So when you think about it, the NFL game, about 10,000 times up, almost 7,800 for $100 players. It's on top-rated NFL picks since its inception 6+ years ago, when a sizzling 24-14 on top of NFL-rated picks last season, returning more than $800. The model also entered in Week 3 of 2021. The season was an incredible 122-81 run on the top-rated NFL picks to date to the 2017 season. Be careful when you bet. Remember, it's your money, not theirs. But I do have you pay attention to this, because I have friends down in Las Vegas also, and hopefully they'll still give me free rooms as long as I don't expose too much information. But the Cowboys versus Eagles spread 3.5. Cowboys versus Eagles, the over-under is 51.5. The Cowboys versus Eagles money line in Philadelphia is plus 150. Keep that in mind. Dallas is minus 175. Philadelphia total has gone under 9 of the Eagles' previous 12 games. The Dallas Cowboys are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games versus the Eagles. So why can the Eagles cover? Only the Raiders have racked up more yards than the Cowboys on offense this year, and the Raiders are undefeated. So the underdogs are in for a challenge. Dallas ranks 5th in passing yards per game. Touchdown, Dak Prescott keep and throw the football. They have great core receivers. But think about this. Dallas ranks 5th in passing yards per game, 306 yards per game. But Philadelphia, they've done a good job shutting down opponents' passing attacks. The 49ers didn't have the success passing against them. Put up 17 points in the win. But I just keep in mind, this game is probably not going to go over the 51.5 point spread. The Eagles have done a good job in shutting down opposing teams' passing attacks. The Eagles secured their 3rd-ranked scoring defense by allowing just 162.5 yards in passing per games week 1 and 2 against Atlanta and San Francisco. Atlanta's not that good. The 49ers are really good. The Cowboys have gotten 70% of the yardage through the air thus far this season. 70%. Ezekiel Elliott, maybe seen his last season in Dallas, doesn't have the explosive ability anymore. Philadelphia doesn't have the most impressive receiving core in the NFL, but Hurts can make up for that with his athleticism. He can beat you with his legs. Sophomore quarterback leads the Eagles in passing 454 yards and rushing 144 yards, and they did even commit to him before the kickoff of the season. But he can create a lot of havoc. He's a big home run hitter on the ground as well as through the air. On the other side, down in Texas, why can the Cowboys cover? Dallas was 2-0 against the spread this season and owns an excellent record against Philadelphia. The Cowboys are 4-1 against the spread in their previous 5 games. against the Eagles at AT&T Stadium. Give that man some praise for knowing that stuff. I said give him some praise. You got to know what they're playing. 4-1 against the spread in their previous 5 games against the Eagles at AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys are also 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 matchups against the Eagles. Touchdown Dak Prescott did not play in either of those previous 2 meetings. This game has Dallas Cowboy all over it, in my opinion. Philadelphia has given up the 4th fewest passing yards per game this season, but has not gone up against an elite offense like Dallas until tonight. I think you're going to hear a lot of touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh, hold on, producer. We're just doing football right now. Oh, okay, you got me working day and night. You got me working day and night, the great Michael Jackson. That's all fair and loving war. The Dallas could light up the scoreboard tonight. It's just my opinion. Against the Falcons, they were rebuilding the core of receivers following the departure of touchdown Julio Jones, while the 49ers, they neglected to utilize Brandon Ayuk. Had a good game last night in San Francisco. I was there. In week 2, Dallas has 2 studs, CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper at wideout. That duo can stretch the secondaries like few other people can do it in the NFL. Running back Ezekiel Elliott, I'm not sold on Ezekiel Elliott. I would say run Pollard as much as possible. Use Ezekiel to block. He just doesn't have breakaway ability anymore. I mean, prove me wrong, but the Cowboys ranked 2nd in yards per game. In the middle of the pack, offense could struggle to keep up. So how can the Cowboys versus Eagles pick go with the sporting guys down in Vegas? The Sportsland model is leaning over on the total, projecting the team to combine for 53 points. It's also one side of the spread that cashes in well over 50% of the simulations. It's all fair and level work. Whatever you do when you're betting, make sure that you don't bet more than you can afford to lose, because those casinos, they know what they're doing. And I don't want to see anybody saying, man, I can't eat any more Big C burgers. I know it's tasty burgers. I know it comes with exotic meats, but I spent all my money. You don't want to spend all your money eating all those betting props that come in, all fair and level war. I'm looking forward to a great year of the NFL. We'll be at Seattle in San Francisco next week. It's all fair and level war. We're going to get what's called a Big C pause, also known as a Big C timeout. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about what's going on in the world of sports. Today was media day for the NBA, and some people saying they don't want to get vaccinated. They couldn't care less, but now they get more educated, and more people are realizing it's probably best if they got vaccinated, because a lot of the coaches in the league, they're not young men like a lot of the athletes are. People go home to their families. If you listen to doctors when you get sick, why not listen to a doctor before you get sick? Give me some praise for that one. It's a whole for another war. So there'll be some more players. NBA Media Day happened over the last couple of days. People are leading up to it. But a lot of players were saying they didn't get vaccinated. And some of them are saying now they will, because they know it's probably the right thing to do. They want to stay healthy. And you can't stay healthy if your butt's not being healthy, if that makes sense to you. Either are or you aren't. All fair level work. We're going to take what's called a Big C pause, also known as a Big C timeout, in the words of the former California governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and recall Governor Gavin Newsom. I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. Just a few more tidbits of information I wanted to give out for the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers game at Levi Stadium over in beautiful San Francisco, California. I noticed driving over the streets of Santa Clara, it's like the roads are made on ice, or maybe glass. No, glass are great. You don't want to work on glass. But the roads are so smooth with that Silicon Valley money. I mean, there was no speed undulations, no potholes. At least I didn't find any, and I'm looking for them because I try to avoid them. So all the people in the city of Santa Clara that make sure that no one comes over and messes up your city really appreciate no potholes when you have low profile tires. You can fill everything. But the series highlights for the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers over the years, whenever you see the red and gold and also the green and gold, you know it's going to be great football. I remember when Garoppolo led the 49ers down the field with less than 2 minutes to play, and they scored with 37 seconds lead. I remember when Steve Young, I was at Candlestick Park in the press box, John Madden had that game, and I heard Young back to pass, finds Owens across the middle, Owens. That was a call by Joe Starkey on radio, and Joe Starkey was a great broadcaster for the 49ers, and Steve Young kind of slipped on the play, but he found his footing and hit Terrell Owens for the winning touchdown over the Green Bay Packers. And I was saying that Jimmy G is going to do the same thing. And he did it. But Jimmy G, when he did his thing, he left touchdown Aaron Rodgers 37 seconds. That's too much time when you have a future Hall of Famer. But the crowd at Levi Stadium, they get a standing ovation. If you look at the series matchup, they met 70 times, these two great franchises. And right now, the Packers lead it now 38 wins, 32 losses, and 1 tie against the 49ers. What a great season they had all over the years, these two teams. The home record for the 49ers versus the Packers, the 49ers lead the series 20 wins, 14 losses now, and 1 tie. And then you look at the 49ers away record versus the Packers. The Packers lead 24-12. The first meeting was November 26, 2000, actually 1950. And the Packers won 25-21 at Green Bay. The last meeting was just last night. It was 30-27. But prior to that, it was 34-17 at San Francisco. The Packers won in 2020. It was November 5th, actually. And they came back and got a good win. I mean, these are two great football teams. The current streak, the 49ers have lost 2 in a row now to Green Bay. They were favored going in by 3. They ended up losing 30-28 by 2 points. The longest streak the 49ers went streak was 7, back from 12, it was December 10th, 2015, up until December 5th. I'm sorry, that goes back to 2000. I beg your pardon. It is 7 is the win streak. And December 10th, 1950, up to December 5th, 1954. The Packers' longest win streak was 8. It's 11-29-1999 when Brett Favre was doing his thing, up to December 5th, 2010. It's a great series, these two teams. And then the most points the 49ers have scored in this series was 48 points. They did it 2 times against the Packers. Last time it was December 7, 1958. And the 49ers won that 48-21 at San Francisco, the old Candlestick Park. The most points the Packers scored in this series was 41 points. And that was on 10-23-1960. It was 41-14 at Green Bay. You see the home cooking? That makes me feel. The 49ers set out on, I think it was December 12th. It was December 5th, 1954. And the 49ers won 35-0 at San Francisco. Back in 1954. Not that many people were paying attention right now for that in 1954, but just some old timers I met at the Levi Stadium also that pay attention. And so the Packers last set out, they did it twice. The last time, November 19, 1967, the Packers won 13-0 at Green Bay. I mean, these two teams have a great series of football, and I wouldn't be too surprised if we see them again because we're seeing some of the best teams in the world of the National Football League. I'm looking forward to everything that comes out of the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers. Everybody, that crowd last night was just amazing. It was like a rocket ship going off. I really appreciate the success that these two great franchises have had over the years. And as they go on and look for more success, we're going to have that for you on Big C Sports Podcast. I really do appreciate everything that they've been able to do with Big C Sports. We're going to take what's called the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. And we'll come back and talk a little bit more. The Ryder Cup, the USA beat the European team and the Ryder Cup, so good job with that. And now coming down the stretch for baseball, this is like the best baseball season I've seen in a long, long time. Whether you are a Dodgers fan, whether you are a Giants fan, I'm a Giants fan. I mean, I love baseball, I love both teams, but I really, outside of the sports and working, I root for both of them. People say, how can you do that? How can you root for both? I just do. I love both of them. But we're going to take what's called the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. We're going to wrap up today's show. It's a beautiful Monday. I mean, it's such a beautiful, beautiful Monday in Northern California. They're putting out a lot of the fires, and a lot of people are breathing easier. I had a great time watching every airplane fly out of San Francisco International Airport. It was like every 4 minutes, another plane flew overhead. It was like, the boss, the plane. I was like, the plane. They're like, Charlton, we know. We've seen airplanes before. It's all fair than a war. I was like, the plane. We're going to take what's called the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout, in the words of, the plane. I'll be back. All right, we are back from the Big C Pause, also known as the Big C Timeout. You can follow Big C Sports on 17 podcast applications and 4 TV applications. Major League Baseball pictures is looking good. The postseason, the odds that the Yankees tie the Red Sox in the wild card. The Phillies are closing in on the Braves. 2021 Major League Baseball season in its final month. Baseball pitchers are getting their arms ready. The playoffs are taking shape. We officially have the first 5 postseason teams as the Chicago White Sox. Give them some praise. Give the White Sox some praise. Apologize for the drop in power for the microphone, but it's all fair and level work. I think it was hit by a lightning bolt. It hit that fair and level work. Don't let your microphone ever get hit by a lightning bolt. It can lose some of the power. It's all fair and level work. But this show must go on. And then you have, as the White Sox on Thursday, join the Giants. They also join the LA Dodgers, the Milwaukee Brewers also, and the Tampa Bay Rays, as they are ready for officially saying that they're going to win the division. It's still up in the air with the Dodgers and Giants. The Astros will likely be the next to join them, and the American League wild card is now the best race. You have the Boston Red Sox, them good boys, and the New York Yankees are now tied at the top spot of the 2 games ahead of the Blue Jays and 3 games ahead of the Mariners. What a series. These great teams are playing right down to the wire. And the Yankees and Red Sox wrap up a 2-3 game series at Fenway Park on Sunday. Talk about the alcohol served in Boston for that game. It's all spread out of war. And now it's all going to shake out. We're going to see it before our eyes. Right before the postseason starts, on October the 5th is when the postseason is going to start. Oh my goodness. This is like baseball playoffs already. It's also worth asking, what would it take for Major League Baseball pitchers? What would it look like if it ended Sunday? I'm telling you, this is just, it's one of the best years in baseball I've seen. And if it ended today, on this beautiful 27th of September, if we get into the fall already, the wild card would be the Red Sox versus the Yankees. Could you imagine how great that would be for the baseball gods to see the Red Sox and the Yankees in the wild card game? It would be the Dodgers versus the Cardinals. Could you imagine those 2 old-time programs going at it? I like the Dodgers in that series. In the ALDS, the Astros versus the White Sox, the great Tony La Russa and the great Dusty Baker. They've been at it before. All fair and level war. The Rays versus the American League wild card game winners. And if you don't like baseball now, you got to wake up and watch the game. In the National League Division Championship, the Brewers versus the Braves. What 2 great baseball franchises coming down to the wire. In the NLDS, it will be the Giants versus the National League wild card game winner. This is just so intense. The teams that are clinched, the Rays have clinched the AL East. Congratulations, give them some praise. Give them praise on Big C Sports. The White Sox, they've clinched the AL Central. They're going to give the White Sox some praise. Give them some praise also for clinching the Central. Tony La Russa doing this thing again. The San Francisco Giants, my pick for the World Series champions for 2021. They've clinched the playoff spot. Give the Giants some praise and give Big C his World Series tickets. I've been calling you guys all year long. The great Lionel Richie did it all night long. I did it all year long. All year long. I don't think it's the great Lionel Richie, but I did it all year long. And then you have the Dodgers clinch the playoff spot. Love seeing the Dodgers play as well as the Giants. And the Brewers also clinch the playoff spot. Give them some praise. So you have Major League Baseball standing playoff races. It's all shaping up. It doesn't matter who you want to get in. It's just all shaping up. You got to watch it to really appreciate how great this game of baseball is. I've loved it since I was a little kid. My mother helped us win a league championship. Wasn't a world championship, but it was a league championship from a woman who did a great job. Really appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that's ever been a part of Big C Sports. Really do appreciate the NFL for giving me the press credentials for Big C Sports Podcast. You can go anywhere in the United States watching NFL football, getting the same thing done for NBA basketball that I've had for a couple of years, and also Major League Baseball also started that in the past as well. So 2021 Major League Baseball playoffs are going to start October the 5th, but it feels like they've already begun. And the 5th and 6th with the AL and the NL wildcard games in celebration of the 2021 Major League Baseball season. I'm telling you, so many people love baseball. Sports is a billion-dollar industry. It brings everyone together. My ears are still ringing from Levi Stadium in beautiful Santa Clara, San Francisco. I wish that everyone can stay safe and enjoy as you do whatever you can to enjoy this beautiful year of 2021. It can only get better from here. As we always tell you, back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right hand man, and he would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, You sing like a bee, you rumble, young men rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? And as Virginia Brown would say, Ollie, what are all those exotic meats? How many big cheeseburgers are you going to eat? You know you got a fight coming up in 3 hours. He said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. The big cheeseburger makes me float like a butterfly. It makes me sing like a bee. It helps me rumble young men rumble. That's a great one from what I read. I love it all. I love it all. I love so much about sports. I really appreciate everyone in my life that's made it possible for Big East Sports to go to that next level of broadcast. Next is the $10 million. Really appreciate that happened with the funding package. My mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence, that no man, woman, or child should ever have to go to that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you, on every Big East Sports show, if you know anyone going to the garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help. Because no man, woman, or child will ever have to go to that garbage on their own. As we always tell you, on every Big East Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super, fantastic day. Everyone needs some arc in their life. See what happens when the power goes out? That's what happens when the microphone gets hit by lightning. Everybody didn't hit me. What a knucklehead. I was holding the microphone in water. Can't do that. That's smart.